Hey, welcome back to the Story People channel. If this is your first time here, welcome. We are so happy to receive you. Hey, my name is Sophia. I am a lawyer. I'm a content writer. And what else do? I do spoken word. And if you check somewhere on this channel, you see one spoken word I did one time. It's called First Time. So if this is your first time here, this would be a really good time to check out that piece, but then finish this one first. I also wife, and I will soon mother.
Not kill people.
Yeah, like mother, like not murder.
All right, hi, I'm Lord Josh. I'm the owner of this channel. I am a writer, first a writer, a storyteller, a filmmaker. Storyteller kind of covers the writing and the filmmaking. I'm an engineer. Don't bring your engineering problems to me because I can't help you. But
no.
And I'm the new husband. Well, the only husband. Don't let me just say new. I'm the husband to this fine girl.
But you can bring your lawyer problems to me, like business law lawyer problems. Please, I don't want to go to court. I don't like the courtroom. But if you have businesses, companies you want to register, you have agreements you want to draft, or any of those kind of stuff that are outside court, I'm your girl. Yeah.
By the way, that advertisement was not paid for. So
it was paid for. In kind.
Oh, okay. All right. There are children watching this.
Why are we here? Why did I decide to show my face and show his face on the same channel today? It's because we want to tell you our story. Just want to say a few things about us, because following from now, we're going to be doing a whole lot together, and we thought it would be nice for you to know your hosts. We want to talk about our journey, the things we learned on the way. We want to talk about how our wedding was postponed 3 times and was facing the threat of being postponed again. Shout out to COVID-19. And we also want to talk about
how we eventually had our dream wedding.
Yes, shout out to the scripture, all things work together for the good of them that love the Lord. Okay, let's get right into it. We're about to tell you where it all began, how it all started.
All right, so we met at Zoe. Zoe is a interdenominational fellowship started by Mayowa Gidado, popularly known as Uncle Mayo.
Uncle Mayo,
yeah.
Shout out.
We met, a lot of couples met at Zoe. Well, maybe not, well, some couples met at Zoe. So we met at Zoe, and for a while she was just another girl in Zoe. Okay, then I found out that she was my birthday mate. So of course that made her stand out from everybody. I was in school and she was barely in school. She was in school too. And so I didn't see that, oh, she's my birthday mate, as, oh, this would be so nice to marry my birthday mate. That was not in my head at the time. So we're just friends, and then we're not even close. But I just knew as that's Sophie. She's this cool girl that is in Zoe, that we talk. And they didn't hear you.
No, I was mounting that. I love watching him talk.
Yeah.
You feel very shy and awkward now.
Right. Okay. Anyway, so as I was saying, we're friends like that, and I think it was around maybe like a couple or 3 years ago. That was when we started getting a bit closer, because we used to meet at this hub called The Zone. Shout out to Mr. Adigoke.
Yeah.
Yeah, the owner of The Zone. So we used to meet there because she would go there to do writing work. I'll go there to do my writing work. 2 different types of writing, but we're both writers. I was a screenwriter at the time, so I was mostly going there to do screenwriting. Okay, yeah, and I had this content writing gig at the time, so I used to need a lot of time and electricity to work. So she will be there to do her stuff. So we'll meet. So at that time we started getting a bit closer, we talk more, and of course, because we're in each other's space, we got to know each other a bit more, and then we started attending the same church. I feel like if we did not start attending the same church, this would not have happened.
Most likely not.
Yeah, Zoe notwithstanding, I don't think this would have happened. So shout out to Citizens of Light Church.
Woo!
Our home. Anyway, so we met again in church. So of course that's okay. By the time we were meeting at The Zone, we're already in the same church. So we got to talk more, get to know each other more.
Work on projects more.
Yeah,
together.
worked on stuff together, worked on stuff in church, worked on stuff individually. I remember I had one stuff I wanted to do then, and I was just thinking, okay, can I get for this? Can I get for this? I just thought, Sophie can do this. So I called her up and, hey, can we work on something together? And we did. It was while we were doing that we shot the spoken word video. And funny story. So after we started dating, we went to see one of our pastors, Pastor Timmy. And so she said, for some reason, she just saw the spoken word video. And then she read the caption that Sophie wrote on the spoken word video. And around that time, we were preparing for a conference. So it was really, everybody was tight, time was tight. So she said, Pastor Timmy said, when she saw the video, she thought, when did these people have time to go and shoot this kind of video when everybody is busy? And so anyway, maybe they just found time. So Sophie told her that, no, I shot that video a year ago. So Pastor Timmy was like, you shot that video a year ago and you wrote all this about him? She said, yes. She said, and you people were not dating? She said, no. Pastor Timmy just said, you already liked him that time. He just did not say it.
I didn't.
So, well,
I was just appreciating a friend, very kind gesture to me for giving time to make my video. It was the first spoken word video I owned. I really loved it. So it was just, I was just doing that.
But she said some nice things that could be termed romantic. I'm choosing to see them as romantic. So, that happened. And
at the time, we did not see them as romantic. He just saw them as my friend and birthday mates saying nice stuff about me. He didn't see them as that.
But there was one thing that I actually noticed about her. It is that she was very supportive. I remember when I made Ridiculous. That was one movie I made.
Movie that he refused to put on his YouTube channel because he thinks there were a lot of flops in it.
Yes. Anyway, as I was saying, so I had like a mini premiere for the film. So it was just mostly my friends, But that day she came, she was there. And oh, nice, she made her comments, She was just that kind of friend that, this kind of friends that support you, She was that kind of person. That's kind of how we met. Is there anything I missed out?
No, that's basically how we met. It was just Zoe.
Okay. So, what changed? Because I remember that a few people in church had already kind of said, Sophie, how far now? And they would say, we are just friends. Because people used to see us talk in church and we had a good vibe.
Yeah.
We had a good vibe, so gist and so people just thought, guy, you are single.
She's single.
Why? Just,
But he's like, she's my G, like.
So I was like, no, nah. She's my friend, she's my friend. I remember telling somebody this, and the person said, and so who you married before your enemy? But she was just a friend, really. And so, but what changed? One of our pastors, Pastor Shen is my pastor. Shout out to him.
Pastors.
And for some reason, he just got on my case. Lord Josh, when are you getting married? I'll just laugh. That pastor, just walk away. You stay and walk away. But he just kept at it. When are you getting married? And it got to a point. He just called me and said, are you telling me that out of all the 5 girls in this church, there is nobody that you like? And pastor, it's not like that, Or still, he just said, okay, this is what we're going to do. Go and bring a list of 5 girls in CLC that you like. He went, like, what? And he gave me that assignment and left me for a bit. So I thought to myself, okay, let's do this list of 5 girls. Believe me, I could not write a list of 5 girls. CLC has some beautiful sisters.
A lot of them.
But for some reason, I knew that I could not just say, this sister is beautiful, so therefore his wife. No. I needed to know the person. I knew that I wanted to marry somebody that I knew was a friend. And for some reason, only 2 people fell in that category. Only 2 people. They were both my friends. Of course, that was like minimum criteria. They had to be my friends. But I knew that was not a decision that I could just make with my head. I can try, but that's not the way I wanted to make this decision. So that particular Sunday, we came to church, and Pastor Timmy again was the one who preached, and she was talking about making this praying in the spirit. and how when you pray in tongues, God orders your steps and leads you in the way you're supposed to go, even sometimes subconsciously.
Yeah.
So that was the particular day I went to give a report back to Pastor Sean. So I saw him and I said, Pastor, I couldn't come up with 5 people because, but I have a list of 2. And he said, oh, okay, that I already know what to do. From today's message, it was a divine coincidence that, okay, for what Pastor just preached, just put it into practice. So, for a whole week, and this was just the way I was led, really. So it's not a rule or anything.
No,
but for a whole week, I was fasting, and then I was praying. In the morning, I'll pray for about 2 hours. I have to be honest. Thank God for faith, God's mercy and faithfulness. I was not faithful to the 2 hours because sometimes I'll wake up a little bit later than I should, but it was average of 2 hours every morning. I'll pray in the spirit. I will not pray anything now. I will just say, God, because that was how we were taught that particular Sunday. I will just say, God, concerning my marriage, and burst into tongues, and I'll do that for a bit. So by the end of the week, I already kind of knew, to be honest. It was already, I didn't hear my son or anything like that, but I just knew that this was the choice to make. But the week after, there was a public holiday on the Tuesday, and I just felt like I'd not pushed through totally, right? So I decided to pray again. So I did 2 hours.
With your sister?
Alone at first. 2 hours. Then my sister, Peace. Shout out to Peace.
Shout out to Peace!
Yeah, Peace was at home at the time. So I just went to her at Peace. I'm praying about this. Let's do this final hour together. I was going to do 3 hours that morning. By the time we prayed, by the time we entered like 30 minutes of the 1 hour, both of us were praising already. We had eaten a gusher.
Whoa!
So by that time I was already, there was no doubt, there was no am I sure, am I not? I just knew in my heart.
He did not just hit a note.
Yeah, I didn't hit a note of victory.
Of victory, yeah.
I hit a song of victory. That was what I told Pastor Shim. And I'm normally the kind of guy that takes time with stuff, analyze, check it out. But for some reason, this time around, once I knew, I wanted to tell Pastor Show, sir, I've prayed, this is it. He said, okay, are you sure? I remember something he told me. He said, are you sure you like her? Not just that God said, because this is what you are going to spend the rest of your life with. And there was a sentence he used that made me go and ponder. He said, marry your temptation. Like, marry the kind of person that would tempt you. That was, I don't know, I never had that before. That was deep. So, of course.
He never told me that before.
Yeah, that's why we're doing this. So that secrets can come out. Well, it was good advice, because it's not just God said, you need to be physically attracted to the person you're going to get married to. I am not going to start describing my wife physically here, but she's my temptation. Yeah, so that's what happened from my end.
Okay, first of all, he asking me out was very shocking for me, in a good way. Shocking in a very nice way. I don't even know why it was nice, girl, because I was not expecting it. But that night after church, he's like, okay, before I said what I said, yes, like in this way. That's how, like, some weeks before, he came and asked me out and all of that. I have this friend, Victor. He's on set right now, and he's just rolling his eyes and stuff, and I'm so happy that he's here to hear me talk about it. Anyways, so then we used to chat a lot, sort of. So he'll chat me up and he'll be like, what's new? And every time he says what's new, I'll be like, nothing, like everything is old, like, what's up, I'm fine, I'm working, and okay, that's all my life used to be about. Oh, I'm in church, I'm this. So what's new? What new thing do you want? But there was a time Isha asked me, and he's like, what's new on WhatsApp? And I'm like, I have to give this guy something new. So I just thought, I snapped a picture of my mom's ring one time. I took a picture of it, and it was just somewhere in my gallery, and I thought I could just tell Victor I just got engaged, and then I'll just send him that picture to back up. And I didn't think further than that, actually. So I'm like, I'm getting married, and he's like, what, are you serious? And I sent him a picture, like, when did this happen? And then he's like, who is the guy? I'm like, oh my gosh, oh, you get engaged to people, to a guy. So I'm like, oh, who? So I checked my gallery, and the first picture there was the picture of me and him. It was a Sunday. We did one surprise thing for our pastor, so we took a picture on the backdrop of that stuff. So that was the most recent picture, and he was chatting me up on like Tuesday or so. So I sent him a picture like, him, yes, Lord Josh. And he's like, what? How? Where? Why? I'm like, oh yeah. And I started just making up stuff. I was telling him, and he was just eating everything like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. Oh, when did you when did Soph you start? He's like, how do you feel? I feel good. Like, what if he says, I'm like, I feel good. I want to do this. Yes, I want to get married. Married to Lord Josh and all of that. So I was going to tell him at the end of that conversation that was a prank, but then he ate it too good. He kept on messaging me like, how you feeling and all of that, and I'm like, this prank is so good, I'm going to let it last a little bit longer. It lasted 2 days, 3 days, and I thought, okay, let me tell the person that inside the prank. So I saw him, and I'm like, I'll tell you something. I've done something. I've pranked Victor that we are getting married. So I'm like, well, I want to tell him that it was a prank. And he's like, no, don't tell him yet. Let us continue the prank together. I want to join. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. And then we decided to play the prank together, not knowing that this brother has been doing things in the spirit, And then he already knew he was going to come and ask me out. So when we eventually got together, he's like, when you told me that, I just smiled like, that was just out of the blue, really. But then, before then, it's been really in my spirit, like, okay, my guy is really close. I just knew it, I just knew it, that the guy was close. And somehow pointers started coming to him. How I use him for the prank just happened. And then, people, not just people, some close people in my circle were just like pointing to him that, how about this guy? I'm like, like, what are you seeing? Like, him, and like, what's happening? Why him? But it was there. And eventually he asked me out, and I just sort of knew it was the one. Of course, I've been praying about who I'm going to get married to. I had confession that my pastor Temi guided me to write, and of course the Holy Spirit guided me on the exact things to write, because every single thing I wrote in my confession is sitting right here in the camera. But then we got talking, we got closer. He said a few things that, just like, okay, this can be the guy. He loves being behind the camera. I love being in front of the camera. And that plays out in other areas of his personality, so we don't get to a point of clashing. And he also said something like, he's never been the kind of guy who wants to marry a woman who just wants to follow the guy. Of course, the guy's supposed to lead. I understand that. I submit to him, My problem with that basically is not just a man's ego thing. There's an African version of a man's ego in that particular thing. So you find men who believe that their wives need to kneel down and carry the tray on their head and say, my lord, the food is ready. That kind of course, that's maybe exaggerated. I don't know if that happens in real life, but that kind of thing. And I'm like, oh, okay, he wanted a partnership, and that was perfect for me. But something else that stood out apart from this struck something in my heart, of course, in my mind. I recorded that. The other thing that was big for me was how he handled. There was a little thing that happened between him and, okay, not little, it was major, because this is my husband here. He left Deeper Life Bible Church for CLC. So he left, and of course his dad was not too happy about that, and a lot of stuff went down in that season. He told me about them. He has that in his book, by the way, the grapes collection. He has that in the last story, I think. Yeah, he has a good part of the details of what happened there. So anyways, he told me how he handled that, how the Holy Spirit guided him on what to do, how he prostrated, and these days we just believe that our parents don't understand, and then we just want to be like, no, I know what I'm doing, this is God's will for my life. I know you want to just iron it out with them and just blast them like that. But he did not do that. He just took the gentle path, and it was resolved. Of course, God being involved, God made it very smooth. It got to a point where his dad is like, okay, let me pray for you, and by himself said, I release you. So it was a willing thing, and seeing that resolution just taught me like, okay, there's sometimes you fight, the scripture says the violent take it by force, and people want to stand on that, like, if I don't do it, there's a time for that. But my husband is a very wise man, and he knew that approach would probably not work in that particular scenario, and that was something that was astounding for me, how he handled that whole season of the dispute between him and his dad. And I really just knew that we will not clash. And one other thing that gets me about him is how he just handles conflict resolution between me and him. There was not one big thing that, okay, now I say, of course I got scriptures, I went to pray too, even though I knew, I just wanted to get a word. You know how we say that, the Lord told me this is it, all those things were attractive, but I already knew it was one, but I was just like, Lord, I still need a word. I went back to pray a couple of times. They're like, I still want a word, I still want a word, I still want a word. And of course our God is willing, generous, and very able, and so he gave me a lot of words that are now still making sense. Some of them made sense then, but now they are like coming to make more sense. And here I am. I've been taken by this man here.
So after I asked and she said yes, it was good. It was awesome. I'm in a relationship, and everything. I told my sisters first. I have 3 beautiful sisters. I told them first, and told my friends. So finally, Lord Josh is off the market. All of that. But after telling all those people, the next person I needed to tell was my dad. Well, my parents, but my dad. And like she said before, I grew up in Deeper Life. And if you don't know, Deeper Life, people don't look like this. No, they don't. So for those of you who don't, Deeper Life is a very conservative church, wonderful church, but very conservative. And my dad is a pastor, like a relatively senior pastor in Deeper Life at the time. And I knew the way people react to the children of Deeper Life pastors marrying people outside, especially girls, because for a guy you can still wear your t-shirt and jeans and nobody knows the church you attend, but for girls you don't wear weaves, you don't wear lipstick,
you don't paint your lips,
you don't wear jewelry and all of that. So I knew that was a potential challenge, so I had to talk to my dad about it. But I knew that also I couldn't get married without telling my dad. So my parents were not in town at the time, they were in Lagos. And they came in for something, and they were about to go back. So I knew this is my opportunity. This is the time to talk to him about this babe that I'm going to spend the rest of my life with. So that morning, I went in to talk to my dad. I did not know what to expect. I did not have a plan per se on how I was going to deliver this news. So I went in that morning to talk to my dad.
Okay guys, thank you for watching our video for today. On our next video, we're going to progress into the story, how he told his dad what happened, how I eventually met his parents, how he met my dad. My mom was not in the house. How he met my dad, and the thing that blew his mind about meeting my dad. And you really need to stay tuned, because in that next video, aside talking about how we met each other's parents, we're also going to be talking about the courtship, how we managed the attraction. We're going to be talking about the things, just a few tips we got from our marriage counseling, that you will get full details if you come to the Sublight Church and come and do your wedding day.
Thank you so much for watching this video. Please remember to like the video. Remember to subscribe to the channel if you have not done that. Why have you not done that? And also please share this video with your friends, and remember, we'll be back to tell the full story of how this progressed till we had our dream wedding and I got this ring. So,
he's excited about his ring.
Stay tuned. Thank you so much for watching.
Goodbye kiss from us to you.
We really hope you enjoyed watching that video as much as we enjoyed sharing. Did anything we said sound like something you'd experienced? Do you also have exciting stories about how you met your significant other? Or would you also like to share why you asked out or why you said yes to him? We'd really love to share your story too. Please leave it all in the comment section down below and let's go on this journey together. See you on our next video. Hey, don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell so you can get the next part of this video. Till next time, bye!